Today's On the Agenda program will feature brief interviews with three individuals talking about events coming up in downtown Douglasville in October. Also, I want to give a brief report about a special City of Douglasville election which will take place in conjunction with the November 4 general election. I hope you will join me for today's program.
I'm Shan Weeks with Keep Douglasville Beautiful, and My City TV is good for the environment.
This is City Manager Bill Osborne. Welcome. On this edition of On the Agenda, I'll have three special guests to talk about some events coming up in downtown Douglasville in October. But before I move to my first guest, I want to let you know that the last part of this program, I want to give you a brief explanation about a special election that will be coming up for City of Douglasville voters on Tuesday, November 4th, the same day as the general election. It'll be a referendum to see if the voters wish to enable the city to be able to establish tax allocation districts, TADs. We think TADs will be an excellent way to make some economic development projects move forward in the City of Douglasville, and I want to share that with you. But first, we've got some October events we want to talk about. I got one guest for each event. My first guest is going to talk about a special event coming up on O'Neill Plaza on Saturday, October the 11th. This will be a very special fundraising event for a very worthwhile charity. And so at this time, I'd like to welcome to On the Agenda Becky Lewis. Becky, it's great to have you with me today.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
All right. Well, I ought to say welcome back because you were with me on this program only a few weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
We had you on as in your position with the City of Douglasville, being the office manager, receptionist, telephone operator in our police administration building.
Yes, sir.
And when we talked that day, I know I mentioned that you were very active in a lot of philanthropic causes. You've been a leader with the City of Douglasville on the teams that we've had in Walk America and also the Relay for Life.
Yes,
But now you've started your own event, and I think this is great. It shows your initiative. So give us a little background on what we've got coming up on Saturday night, October the 11th, on O'Neill Plaza.
Yes, sir. June of last year, 2007, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I'm a third-generation diabetic. My mother and her father were both insulin-dependent diabetics. They both died at very early ages, like the mid-30s. So I never really knew my grandfather because I was very small. But then watching my mother go through the diabetes that she was going through, it was a very challenging thing as a child to watch my mother be in the insulin reactions and stuff. It's very scary. And her sister and brother were also diabetics, and my older brother and sister are also diabetics also. So it's a big family thing in my life. So it's very important to me. And I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren, and I don't want any of them to have to live with this awful, awful disease. It's a very demanding disease with your life, and you have to watch everything you eat, everything you drink, you know, from morning to night. You literally are fighting for your life with diabetes. Every day, 613 people are going to die, or 230 amputations might be performed today. So it's a very trying disease on people.
Right. You know, this is, of course, something that millions of Americans contend with, including both of us, since
Yes,
we're
sir.
both are diabetics.
Yes, sir.
But now tell me about this event that you've got coming up, Dancing Under the Stars.
Yes, sir.
What is it, and how will it benefit the American Diabetes Association?
I just came up with the idea after I was diagnosed. I said, well, I've never really heard a lot of information on fundraisers for the diabetics. So I contacted the American Diabetes Association, and I asked if I could host something last year. And so through your city people here and all, I was able to get the plaza. But it's a fundraiser that we have music for dancing, and we'll have games for the children.
Right.
And with it being a fundraiser, there is a charge. I'm asking like $5 a person, $10 a couple. families are like $15. We'll have fun and food for sale, drinks. There'll be games for the children. We'll have musicians singing, and we'll have just music playing for people to dance. I've got a couple of dance groups coming out from the senior centers. Some folks are coming, and different dance groups around the city will be out there performing.
What are the hours?
From 6 in the evening until 10 at night.
Okay.
So we got the 4-hour time span there.
Okay, that's great. Well, I know that, you know, you've got wonderful determination and a lot of dedication with whatever you undertake. You work hard with it, and you made this a success. Last year being the first one, I think you had more than 450 people and raised more than $2,000 for the American Diabetes Association. You know, as you look at this, it's a fundraiser, but it's also where people can come and have fun as long as it being a fundraiser. Any closing comments you want to make about this event on Saturday night, October the 11th?
Anyone that would like to make a donation, I would love for have community support from the families in the neighborhood. Right. If you know anyone that is a diabetic they want to invite to come, please make the word known. I will have flyers, the big yellow flyers around the city that I'm going to be putting out for people to have information on. So be on the lookout for my posters. And if you need to call me, you can reach me at 404-751-7874. And I also have a little web page, Dancing for Diabetes at yahoo.com.
Rebecca, it's been great to have you here today, and even though this football season and people have all kinds of slogans, and I see your t-shirt has "Fight" on it, how about stepping around in front of our table so people can see exactly what you're fighting for? Message just to conclude our session this morning. It's been great to have you with me today on the agenda. Stay tuned. I'll have another guest in just a moment.
Excuse me. What time are you guys leaving? We're gonna rob your house tonight.
Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, and you should know about it.
Now, late October brings cooler weather, and that's just a great time for chili. And coming up in O'Neill Plaza on Friday night, October 24th, will be the 12th annual Chili Cook-Off. And with me today is Laura Lieberman, Executive Director of the Douglas County Cultural Arts Council. It's great to have you back on the agenda.
It's very nice to be here. And you know, it's one of our favorite events that we partner with the city. It's really just a fun family event as well as a fundraiser, you know. So thanks for having me here.
Well, you know, it's been only a few months since you were on the agenda, and we were talking about your big springtime event, Taste for Douglasville Arts. And here we are back again talking about the Chili Cook-Off that will be coming up soon. And the city is delighted to be able to work with the CAC on this. But tell us what's cooking this year and who's doing the cooking?
Well, it's chili. It's a hot beans kind of time, although I've heard now that it's much more hip to say that we're talking about cool beans than hot beans, but we'll have a lot of hot beans. October 24th from 6 to 9, it's Friday night. I think this is the second year that we've been separated from the run, which is the following night. And I know you're going to be talking to Johnny Bice later, but we still have a big crowd. It's not as big as Taste. Taste this year we had about 8,000 people and made a lot of money for our programming. We make a little less money and we have a smaller but great crowd, about 2,500 people. We have 15 cookers signed up for our 25 spaces, and I'll talk in a minute, I guess, about who some of those local luminaries are. For $50, we provide a tent, table, 2 chairs, electrical connections, and a power strip, as well as all of the cups, bowls, napkins, spoons, and crackers. Our cookers have to make at least 8 gallons of chili, but last year's most sold was more than 20 gallons. So we got some good eaters in the crowd.
Right, and I know that when you said 20 gallons for the most sold, that the celebrity cookers, they're competing with each other to who will have the best tasting chili, who will have the best presentation, because you do get some actually a lot of Halloween type displays in some of your celebrity cookers, and as you mentioned, the most sold. And Of course, I know that it's great to come to the chili cook-off because I enjoy eating, and I especially enjoy chili.
Right.
And I can try the mild and the medium and the hot and the extra hot. You know, one year, though, I had to supply the judges with Zantac so that they could finish up their
Right.
task. But it's a great time that people have. So just give us a little bit of the flavor of what people that may not have been to the chili cook-off can expect.
Well, all the children should be wearing Halloween costumes because we've got a children's contest for costumes, and every child wearing a costume gets a gift bag. So it's very family oriented. When you come in, you don't handle cash at all except to purchase tickets. So you can buy a taste of chili for $1 or a bowl for $3. And lots of our cookers also make cornbread and little special things. And those are $1. And we sell beverages, of course. If it's cold weather, we'll have hot chocolate and coffee, but usually sodas as well.
Right.
So you just buy a bunch of tickets and walk around and meet all of our wonderful cookers. This year, of course, we have Mayor Thompson cooking, and his wife, who last year, although the judges didn't agree with me, I thought she had the best chili. And it was some recipe from her sister. It was really, this is a very familial kind of event. Linda Worthen and the Atlanta Hair West group always just knock themselves out with decorating their booths. They didn't win the best decorated last year, but I'm rooting for them this year because I know they've got a wonderful theme. But the cookers include lots of candidates because, of course, we're right there at the elections.
Right.
Elected officials, lots of small businesses, and the county coroner has won either best tasting or most sold for years. So the question always is, what does Randy have as a secret ingredient in that chili?
Right. Well, I know this is going to be a big event. Now, you mentioned the fundraising aspect, which of course is important, and the funds that are raised, what does the CAC do with those funds?
Well, this is one of our 3 main fundraisers. There's Taste, of course, and then we have a gala that's coming up in November that I hope I can come back and talk to you about. We provide quality arts programming for 45,000 people every year as a result of our fundraisers, including the chili cook-off, and that includes 12,000 students in our schools. So while you're out enjoying great chili, a lovely evening in downtown Douglasville, eating great beans and seeing all your family and friends, maybe winning a prize or 2, you're also supporting quality of life in Douglasville. And we're very grateful to everybody who participates by having such a good time. The kinds of things that are supported include monthly exhibits at the Arts Council, our free concerts on the plaza, spring and fall. We have extensive Artists in the Schools program and many other community outreach events.
That's great, and this will be the 12th annual chili cook-off, so you'll have a dozen under the CAC's belt. Is this going to be the best one?
Oh, of course. They just get better every year. I couldn't believe last year, and I've got wonderful judges. I can't reveal their names because we know that bribes would be ensuing. Also, they've told me that when I did reveal their names, they were invited to eat chili at their friends' houses for 2 months before the event, and they're not up for it.
Right.
So I hope everybody will come. For more details, please visit our website, www.artsdouglas.org, or feel free to call us. These orange flyers will be available everywhere. And I do want to talk just a second about the prizes. All of our cookers, there's Best Decorated Booth, and they get very creative on that. There's Best Tasting, where our judges, which always include important elected officials, and then we have Most Sold. So I hope everybody will come and make this a great fall success for us again this year.
Well, I hope we'll have several thousand people to join myself as enjoying the chili cook-off. Again, that will be Friday night, October 24th. And Laura, thank you for being with me today on the agenda. And when we come back, I'll be talking with Johnny Bice about the Moonlight Run.
Hi, how are you doing today?
What looks good?
Our special today is shrimp scampi. It's been sitting around for about a week.
Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, and you should know about it.
My next guest is Johnny Bice of the DC Roadrunners, and we're going to talk about the 29th annual running of the Moonlight Run here in downtown Douglasville. And it's great to have you with us today.
It's good to be here, sir.
Well, you know, for a number of years, the Moonlight Run and the Chili Cook-Off were held on the same night. Right. But the success of each of those two events, which has been great, the success they've had, but we reached the point that we were kind of overcrowded, that if you look at your runners and watchers and their cooks and customers, we were all kind of just in each other's way from time to time. And so the city worked with your group and with the CAC, and now we're doing these on consecutive nights. And of course, had talked earlier in this program with Laura Lieberman concerning the Chili Cook-Off, which will be on Friday night, October 24th. Followed by the 29th annual running of the Moonlight Run on Saturday night, October 25. And we think this is a great arrangement, and the city's delighted to be part of this. In fact, I know this is the 4th year that your organization has been directing and hosting the Moonlight Run, which is the largest after dark 5K race in the Southeast. So if you would, I want you to tell us a little about that. I mean, the city of Douglasville is delighted with what we've been able to work out with you. In fact, we were pleased a few weeks ago, a few months ago, when you came to us, and actually the name of the race has changed, and that's the City of Douglasville Moonlight Run. But tell us about this new name, and tell us about the specifics of the 2008 edition.
Okay, the City of Douglasville Moonlight Run, formerly known as the Halloween Moonlight Run. We just felt like that the city has been so good to host the event with us, and we have grown to the point to where we just really wanted to look toward taking it to the next level. Coming up on the 30th year, we wanted to do something that would really stand out and connect with the city of Douglasville and partner up, so to speak, and so we thought we would change the name to City of Douglasville Moonlight Run. Right. It'll carry on with the fallish theme and that kind of thing, but we expect, well, last year we had 1,800 runners, and this year we feel like 2,000 runners is not out of the question. Right. The children's running of the 1 mile is a huge part of it. And we've made some changes to that this year. We really wanted it to be a very organized rather than a large stampede, so we've taken steps to enhance that 1 mile race. We also, on that note, with the 1 mile, we wanted to recognize the Douglas County school system. They have the Douglas County Roadrunners program, and for the elementary school kids, and we wanted to take and have a division just for those kids to recognize them and appreciate their efforts. So we'll do that at 8 o'clock. We'll also have a tot trot for 5 years old and under. It'll be a very short dash, and then that will be followed up by the traditional running of the 1 mile run for the children that aren't involved in the Roadrunners program or out-of-towners or whatever at 8:30. Right. And then of course, the traditional 5K run will go off at 9 o'clock as usual. Okay.
Well, recently, of course, representatives from the City Police Department, our Maintenance and Sanitation Department, Community and Downtown Services Department, and myself met with you and one of your cohorts to be sure we had everything lined up for this, because we are expecting a big crowd. So for people who are going to come to watch the races, where do they need to park, and where do they need to position themselves?
Well, if they would park outside the course, which the course for the 1 mile and the 5K is the loop of Church Street and Bankhead Highway. between Fairburn Road and Rose Avenue.
Right.
So if they would park outside that loop, that would help the organization and the potential traffic problems with that. If they get ready to leave before the completion of the event, then they would be able to do so. Otherwise, for safety purposes, we try to close down the entire loop to make sure it's a very safe event. But there's plenty of parking on the streets. The city parking lot adjacent to the conference center is available as well. So there's plenty of parking.
Right. And with what you've said about the parking, of course, our city maintenance department will have blocked off parking along the route so that for the safety of the runners and everything. But let me just read to our viewers part of the brief description that you had emailed to me recently. And while we've covered some of these points, let me just read this. City of Douglasville Moonlight Run is the largest after-dark 5K and 1 mile run in the Southeast, with approximately 2,000 participants running through downtown Douglasville. The race features a TAC USA certified course and is part of the Run and See Georgia Grand Prix Series. Throughout the event, there's fun and entertainment for the entire family, plus hundreds of prizes will be awarded, which is great. And then your email talked a little bit about the logistics, but we're showing our viewers on the screen now your address if they want to try to get more information from you, www.dcrr.org. John, if you would, as part of your final words, tell me about what does TAC USA stand for, and tell me about the significance of being part of the Run and See Georgia Grand Prix Series. Okay, all right. The TAC USA is actually an old term. I think it was changed in 1992. It's actually USA Track and Field. Okay. It's the governing association with track and field events as far as the records and those kind of things. And this is a certified course, so any records that may be set will be documented as so. The Grand Prix Series is for runners across the state that run different races throughout the state to accrue mileage and points for the Grand Prix Series, and at the end of that, at the end of the year, they're awarded prizes for the most points accumulated. Okay. And so we're honored to be a part of that as well. Another thing that we've been contacted about is we may be chosen as the state championship 5K event again this year. Okay. So that'd be a great honor as well. I noticed a minute ago when you gave the address, the website, another location that interested people can go to is active.com. They can actually register online. Okay, great. We will be holding race day registration this year, but we will actually cut that off at 5 o'clock. Okay. It'll start at 3 o'clock at the conference center, and it'll go up to 5 o'clock. And the health fair will be held in conjunction as well. It's what we've done the past several years. Companies in the Douglasville area that are associated with health, fitness, and wellness are welcome there, and our sponsors as well. And they'll filter through there to pick up their race packets. Okay. And so it's good visibility for the sponsors and fitness associates as well. That's great. So fun for the entire family. If you don't want to run, you can come watch and be a part of this. Remember, Saturday, October 25 for the Moonlight Run, and we hope to see you there. Johnny, thank you for being on the agenda today. This is Bill Osborne, and thank you for being with us as well. As we close this edition of On the Agenda, I want to talk to you briefly about a special election that will be held in the city of Douglasville on November 4 in conjunction with the general election. There'll be one issue on the ballot, and that will be for the voters in Douglasville to be able to decide if they want the city to be able to establish tax allocation districts, known as TADs. Now, we believe this will be a very good economic development tool for the city of Douglasville, and I want to tell you about TADs. Of course, anytime that the word tax is mentioned, voters want to know, how will this impact me? And that's a very good question that should be asked. And the bottom line is that unless you own property that would be included in a tax allocation district, then you would not be impacted by there being the establishment of a tax allocation district. And I'll explain that to you in just a moment. But first, I want to thank the members of our local delegation to the Georgia General Assembly. The city of Douglasville had asked the delegation to get a bill passed through the 2008 legislature that would enable the voters of the city of Douglasville to decide whether or not their city government would be able to issue or be able to establish tax allocation districts. And we are appreciative to our delegation for getting this done. They did the same for Douglas County. Both the city government and the county government had asked that voters in both the city and outside the city be able to make this determination. And this will happen on Tuesday, November 4th. And we just want to be sure that you have good information about the tax allocation district. Now, assuming the voters on November 4 authorize the city of Douglasville to be able to have tax allocation districts, what would happen that if property owners had property, and generally we're talking about property that would need to be redeveloped because it had gotten into a condition that redevelopment was very much needed, or it's vacant property that in order to be developed would need some type of stimulus to do this. And basically we're talking about commercial, industrial, in other words, employment opportunity properties or mixed-use type of communities. And the city, if we had a tax allocation district, the city would be able to establish a district, issue bonds to pay for infrastructure such as streets, water, and sewer. And then what would happen, of course, is because the property then is redeveloped or is developed, the taxes on that property would go up, and the increase above the current level of taxes is what would be used to pay off the bonds for the infrastructure improvements that had been made. Basically, a TAD lets the community pay for today's public improvements by using tomorrow's increase in property tax revenues. Because once the water, sewer, street improvements have been made, then of course the property taxes go up because the value of the property goes up, and then the proceeds from that increase in the property taxes is what's used to pay off the bonds. This has proven to be a very successful means of stimulating good, solid economic development in more than 50 Georgia cities. We believe it will do the same in Douglasville if the voters see fit to approve this referendum. Now, we want to be sure that you, the voters, have good information about tax allocation districts. That's the reason I wanted to mention it briefly today. And on the agenda, which will be airing in the next few days, we'll devote the entire program to tax allocation districts. Also, by mid-October, we will have on the city's website a special section on tax allocation districts, and we're showing you on the screen at this time our website address, so you can check that out starting around the middle of October. I want to thank you for watching today's program. I hope that as your schedule permits, you'll participate in October in the Chili Cook-Off, the Moonlight Run, Dancing Under the Stars, events being held in downtown Douglasville. And I hope you will join me for the next edition of On the Agenda, when we'll be talking more about tax allocation districts. Have a great day. This is Bill Osborne signing off from On the Agenda.